Okay, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Can we have order, please? Ma'am, can you please have a seat so we can get started? Can you please have a seat? Sir, can you please have a seat so we can get started? We are making sure that we are filling every seat. We are making sure that we are filling every seat this morning. Okay. Ma'am, please have a seat so we can get started. Today is Tuesday, October 4th, 2016. This is the regular meeting of the Los Angeles Board of Police Commissioners. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Let the record reflect Commissioners, Johnson, Soboroff, Figueroa Villa, McLean Hill, and Goldsmith are present, and we have a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, we need to have order, please. We have LAPD personnel in the first two rows. Every seat, we will make sure that every seat is available, is filled by a member. The room is full. Mr. T-Fan, can you just make sure that we have every seat filled this morning?
Mr. President, we're checking outside to make sure if we have people coming in that we will fill the seats. If I could just advise the audience that LAPD personnel are in the room for items that are on the agenda. When those items are completed, they will leave the room and more seats will be available. They are sitting here because their items are on the agenda. No one can be standing in the room except the press in the back of the room.
Okay. Okay, sir, please have a seat so we can begin our meeting. Thank you. So before we go to the consent agenda items, there is a statement I would like to read. This past weekend, there were two officer-involved shootings resulting...
Just please let him get through his statement, please, please.
Thank you. This past weekend, there were two officer-involved shootings resulting in the deaths of two community members. No matter what the circumstances, these events are tragic for the loved ones of the deceased, their friends, and community members. My deepest sympathies go out to the families and friends of Carnell Snell, as well as the other individual who was killed. It is important to note that the identity... It is... Can we please have order? Can we please have order? If it is important to note that the identity has not yet been established. And I implore any member of the community who has information in that regard to please come forward. It's also important to remember that while certainly not the same as losing a loved one, these incidents are also tragic for the individual officers involved. It's no one's desire to take another man's life. Ma'am, please stop disrupting the meeting. These events, unfortunately, come on the heels of other officer-involved shootings around the country that have left many of us questioning why they happened. Understandably, the community is asking for answers and asking to see the video. Our current policy provides that we do not release video to the public. However, given the heightened tensions in our nation at this time, the mayor, the chief, and I have agreed that it is in the public's best interest to allow the release of the footage taken by a security camera from a private business. That video has been released to the public. Can we please have order? Can we please have order so we can have this meeting today? It is important to note that the investigations into these incidents have just begun, and therefore any judgment as to whether the use of deadly force was justified is premature and not appropriate. Given, ma'am, please, given current California law, given current California law, the department's investigation into the use of deadly force is a confidential personnel matter, and the details of the investigation cannot be discussed publicly. Concurrently, can we please have order?
But if you don't give us a chance to have a meeting, we can't do anything.
Sir, can you please have a seat? They're entitled to sit there. If we can't have order and we continue to have disruptions, then we will first take a recess. Then we will come back and we will try again. If we can't again, then we will adjourn to closed session. I don't think that's in anyone's interest. I don't think it's in the public's interest. It's not in our interest. But we have to have order in this room. We have to be able to go through our agenda. You as a group have the ability to control what happens next. So if you want to continue to disrupt, the meeting, then we will be forced to not have a meeting. Can we please have order? Please, thank you. I want to finish this statement, and then we're going to go on to the agenda. As everyone in this room knows, and if you don't know, I'm happy to let you know right now, there's plenty of opportunity for each person to voice their opinion. You can voice your opinion on any number of the agenda items. You can submit a comment card on the chief's report. You can submit a comment for general public comment regarding any police business, and your opportunity will be heard. We listen every week. But if we continue to have disruptions, no one will have an opportunity to be heard because we'll be forced to end the meeting. So I'm gonna attempt to finish reading this statement. If it continues to be disrupted, then we're gonna take a 10-minute recess. If anyone has information regarding these incidents, I encourage you to come forward. If you're uncomfortable speaking to the LAPD, you can contact Alex Bustamante, our Inspector General, in his office. You can also contact the District Attorney. These shootings underscore the importance of the work we do here, updating our use of force policy, making sure our officers have the best training possible, making sure our officers have the best equipment possible so they have less than lethal options where appropriate. There's a delicate balance between knowing and understanding the dangers our officers face every day while serving our city and the need to have our officers clearly understand and practice a preservation of life philosophy as they encounter members of our community. With that said, I want to assure everyone that my colleagues and I understand our responsibility to provide civilian oversight of the LAPD, and we are all committed to that task.
How can you do that when you have no people here reviewing you?
Sir, please, you will be responsible for this meeting having to end. You really want that responsibility on your shoulders. Within the next 2 weeks, I will be setting forth a recommendation for my fellow commissioners to consider regarding a process to evaluate our current video release policy in categorical use of force incidents. This process will ensure that there's ample opportunity for input from all stakeholders in devising a policy that balances all of the issues. Thank you. Do anything my fellow commissioners would like to add?
Thank you. We're now on item number 1 of the agenda, consent agenda items. We do have a comment card for 1C and 1F.
Would it? Oh, geez, I'm so sorry. Yes. Thank you. We have, I'm very pleased to introduce our newest colleague, Shane Goldsmith. Commissioner Goldsmith has a long-standing commitment to service to our community. She currently serves as president and CEO of the Liberty Hill Foundation. Through that organization, she has touched many lives throughout our city, many organizations that are engaged in great and excellent work through our city. She will be an excellent addition to our commission and add a new and much-needed perspective. Thank you for joining us, and I apologize for... you said we had comments on which item?
1C and 1F.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve items 1A, B, D, and E?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Can you call the comment on item 1C, please?
The comment card is for Michael Novick, 1C. Relative to the donation of gifts and promotional items valued at $12,500.
Good morning. I
Good
want
morning.
to speak to this item, report of a gift valued at $12,500 to the Office of the Chief of Police. I think you should refuse this gift until you fire the Chief of Police.
Do we have any other comments on this item?
No, sir.
Do I have a motion to approve item 1C?
So,
Do I have a second?
second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Can you call the speaker for item 1F, please?
Michael Novick. This is relative to a monetary donation in the amount of $3,000.
All right. I've spoken to this before, but I'm going to speak to it again. I want some member of the Police Commission to tally up how much money, week after week I come here and you're receiving gifts, $3,000, $2,400, $12,000, $8,000, $14,000. This one is for $3,000 for a party, $3,000 for a holiday party at the North Hollywood area. I don't think that the police department should be partying when you're killing people day after day and week after week. But I think that some member of the police commission has to tally up how much money is being donated on top of the enormous budget that you spend. More than 50% of the entire budget for the city of Los Angeles goes to the police department, and yet you're week after week you're raking in these funds on top of that. I want somebody on the police commission to have the nerve or the ganas or the decency to tally this up and report to the public on how much money the police commission gets on top of their budget with all these donations and foundations. I want you to tally up how much money the police department takes in by impounding vehicles and confiscation of property under alleged violations. Before even there is a criminal act, the police department takes funds and uses it for its own purposes and benefit. I think it's outrageous, and I think that the new member from the Liberty Hill Foundation, Liberty Hill, of course, is a acknowledgement of the fact that the LAPD made its bones violating people's human rights, civil rights, and freedom of speech. And this happens over and over again here every week, week after week. People are denied their freedom of speech at these meetings because you're ringed here by cops intimidating people. They need to take these meetings out into the public in the evening when people can come and the community can speak out without fear or intimidation by the police department about what they think about the LA Police Department and the crimes it commits against them.
We have no other comment cards on this item.
You said there's no further comments?
No other cards.
Do I have a motion to approve item 1F?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you. We're now on item number 2, report of the Chief of Police, Chief Beck.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning,
Good
Chief.
morning. Can we have order, please? I'm sure there will be a number of comments on the chief's report. So let's let the chief give his report, and then we can go to our public comment on this item.
Thank you, Commissioner. As you stated, we had 2 officer-involved shootings this weekend. Any loss of life is tragic, and my
Then how come you don't not believe you, Charlie Beck? You are smug, Charlie Beck. We do not believe you. You are doing propaganda, Charlie Beck. We do not believe you.
Can we please stop disrupting?
For the good of the city.
Ma'am, can you please stop disrupting the meeting?
any loss of life is tragic, and the Los Angeles Police Department feels the loss of life just as the rest of the community does. As a matter of fact, today, in case there are family members present, as often has happened in the past, I have members of the department that will help them with some of the issues that they have to deal with.
Ma'am, again, if you continue to disrupt, we're going to have to take a recess, and you will be responsible for this meeting having to end. So please, you will be responsible for this meeting end.
As I said, we have people that are standing in for the yet-to-be finalized family liaison section. They're in the back. If a family member comes up and has questions about the process, or if there's other ways that the city can assist them, these will be the folks that help them do that.
Thank you, Chief. Those who are standing, please have a seat. Our rules are that you must be seated at all times, so please have a seat. If you do not have a seat, we are going to take a recess. Please have a seat. Please have a seat right now. Thank you. Ma'am, please have a seat. Please have a seat. Ma'am, please have a seat, both of you. Yes. Okay, Chief Beck.
So as I said, we have members of the department in the back that can assist family members if they come forward. You know, I think the details of the shooting, both shootings, were covered thoroughly in not only in the media, but in my comments yesterday at an extended press conference where we addressed the issue. As Commissioner Johnson said in his comments, after a great consultation with the Commission in the guise of Commissioner Johnson and with the Mayor's office, we did release the video, and that is out now relative to the Metropolitan Division shooting.
This is the last warning. If we cannot continue with the meeting without disruptions, we're going to take a recess. Okay, Chief, let's try one more.
So to continue, I think the details of the shootings have been well covered in the media and in my statements. So I will not repeat them in this venue. What I will say is that we will do a narrative with the video that has been released at a later time. I want to highlight that you know, while we are extremely concerned about the families and the community involved in the officer-involved shootings, we are also extremely concerned about the amount of guns that are out on our streets. You know, the Metropolitan Division, the division that is the home division to two of the officers involved in the shooting, has recovered over 500 guns in 4 divisions of the Los Angeles Police Department this year. The same 4 divisions have suffered 450 people shot, victims shot so far this year. You know, handguns are far too prevalent, and I think that that is something that is important to address here. You know, we want to make the police department as good as it could possibly be. We want to limit the use of deadly force. We want to do all the things that the commission and I are working towards along with the department. But I think until we address the core issue of violence in our communities, until we address the core issues of primarily young men with guns, we are going to be doomed to this cycle. You know, this is the tragedy of Los Angeles, is gang violence. So going on to crime statistics, I'll be very brief on these because I know we have a lot to cover today, and they're a continuing trend. Since July of this year, we have been steadily decreasing the amount of increase in violent crime in the city of Los Angeles. Last week we were at 11.8, and this week we are at 11.2. So we've dropped a significant amount for a short period of time. So despite the tragedies of this weekend, we had a fairly nonviolent week in the city of Los Angeles. Property crime is up 3.9% in the city. That gives us a total Part 1 crime increase of 5.5%, and that's our lowest increase in over 3 months. So we're making progress. Number of victims shot in the city is so far this year over 860. That is a slight reduction.
Can we
from last year.
please stop disrupting the meeting?
That is a slight reduction from last year of 4.1%. We've had 32 officer-involved shootings so far this year. That's 3.2% above the 4-year average, but over 20% a reduction from last year. So made some progress on that. Gang-related crime is up 4.6% in the city of Los Angeles. Gang homicide, however, is down 11.3%. Traffic collisions, and I'll just cover these briefly, are up 8.5% in the city of Los Angeles. Of particular concern, and we've had a 35% increase in fatalities of traffic collisions. We've had 175 fatalities in traffic collisions this year so far to date. 73 of those have been pedestrians killed in collisions with vehicles. Bicycle-involved traffic collisions are down, and that is a positive development. Personnel statistics, you know, I give these every week, and in my meeting with commissioners, I think that maybe I'll start addressing these in a little bit different way for you, but I'll start that next week. This year, so far this year, we have 9,844 sworn personnel on payroll, 2,736 civilian personnel, about 400 reserves, and over 8,000 young people in our cadet program. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Chief. Do we have any comments on this item?
We have 17 comment cards.
Please call the speakers.
The first,
20 seats are taken by members of LAPD.
There are 15 or more people outside waiting to get in. By now,
Make them get up.
We are now going to go to the public comment on this item. Sir, please have a seat.
we should go by the rules, I think. I don't think we should go against
We
the
are
first
going by
5
the rules.
cards are Oscar, Dr. Melina Abdullah, Paula Miner, Jojo Smith, and Broderick.
So we spent the last 30 minutes listening to you and listening to you accept your donations. So if you have 30 minutes to accept $67,000, $67,570, then you definitely have 30 minutes to talk about how we can release the tapes today for the killings of Waukesha Wilson and Jesse Romero. If anyone in the audience agrees, please raise your hand that we should talk about releasing the tapes for 30 minutes. All right. Any police officers or board members agree that we should talk about this for 30 minutes? Not one. We got one. We got one. The rest are crooked. The rest are crooked sellouts. Y'all sellouts. We got 2 right there. We got 2. All right, well, we got the majority of the people, so we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. We got the people. We don't need you. This is our meeting.
Stop the
This
time
is
for a
our
second.
meeting. Stop the
All right.
clock for a
But you
second.
can.
So can we get
only,
30 minutes on the
only,
clock?
No. But we can only do it 2 minutes at a time.
Well, and as
No.
I as
Okay,
I, as
can we
I,
get 30 minutes on the clock?
This,
Every speaker.
hold,
can
hold the
Somebody have a
clock for
timer
second.
out here?
Hold the clock.
Can we
for a
get 30
second.
minutes?
Sir?
Can you get 30 minutes on the clock?
Sir, as I announced at the top,
This
of
is
the
our meeting. We don't listen to
Okay,
people who
restart
hide
the clock.
cover-ups.
Go
of-
ahead and restart the clock.
Oh, I thought we were putting at 30 minutes. You got it? 30 minutes? For sure. All right, as Americans, we have the right to know how our family members die when they are killed by our government. We need these tapes to be released to their families, and we need an independent organization that can give these families a fair trial, because this organization has lost its credibility in providing police accountability. Waukesha Wilson died in your jail cell 190 days ago. 190 days, and you still haven't shown her mother the tape, and she is here week after week. We're all here week after week, and we still haven't seen that. T-Fank, when I emailed you, you said you put 15 hours on average a week in research. I have the email. Don't look at me like that. I emailed all of you, and you forwarded it to T-Fank. T-Fank, you answered 15 hours a week, and you've had 27 weeks.
Thank you,
15
sir.
hours for 27 weeks, and you guys still
sir.
haven't figured out.
Thank you, sir.
You guys still haven't figured out how to release these tapes to these families?
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
That is a joke. That is a joke. My brother fights for our country 10 years.
Sir, we have
for our
seven.
rights.
We have
Fuck
16
that.
more speakers on this item.
He fights overseas for these rights. You ain't taking
Sir,
these rights
if
away
you
from
don't
us.
have a seat
No,
and
I
we
don't
can't
give a
move to
fuck.
the next speaker, then we're going to take a recess and the meeting will probably end.
No.
So, sir, please have a seat.
What can we do to get that video today?
Please have a seat.
I'm not having
it's
a
time
seat for shit.
Okay.
I'm here week after week.
If you don't have a
I've
seat
been
right
here for a
now,
year.
you are again going to be the cause of this meeting ending for everyone.
I ain't the cause of You guys down with that?
Okay. All right, we're gonna take a 10-minute recess. We're gonna take a 10-minute recess, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna try and continue the meeting. We're gonna take a 10-minute recess.
We need these answers.
You don't answer questions. You don't answer things that people really want to know. Right. Chief, you want to talk about foolishness. Like don't make
Okay, we're gonna call the meeting back to order. We're gonna call the meeting back to order. Can everyone please have a seat so we can resume having public comment on the report of the Chief of Police? Sir, your time is up. Can you please cede to the next speaker?
13 seconds. Just give me 13 seconds.
His time is up. I started. I didn't reset it. I restarted it.
I didn't say to reset the clock. I said to restart the clock.
I did. The next speaker, Dr. Melina Abdullah. Followed by Paula Miner.
So you know why we're here, and you know that there are dozens of people locked out of this meeting. You know that you continue to play the games of filling up rows. There's 2 seats here. There's police in the back that could be sitting here. 3 seats. They need to move so the public can get in. This is a game that you play week after week after week. Somehow, as soon as Baba Keeley and I got to the top of the line, after we were waved up, they were saying, there's no more seats. There are seats. Open up the overflow room and let people in. Secondly, we know what you were doing, Beck. We know why you chose to use your discretion and release a piece of video that does not negate what the public says. It does not negate what the public says. You're trying to assassinate the character of Carnell Snell after you assassinated his body. The people won't fall for it. We are not falling for it. We are still calling for you to be fired, and we'll call for it every week until it's done. We will be in the streets every day until it's done. Your days are numbered. We also want to lift up, if you can use your discretion to release that tape, you can use your discretion to release every tape. Every tape. We want the tapes for Waukesha Wilson. We want tapes, if they're there, for Brother Richard Risher. We want the tapes for Keith Bursey, for Riddell Jones, for all of them. We want them all released. Be transparent. There's a reason we don't trust you, because you lie. You lied when you said you tell the truth every week. We know you lie week after week after week, and we are not going to stand for it anymore. The people will not stand for it anymore. Life is more important than your lies. Life is more important than your lives, and Brother Carnell Snell's life matters. Say his name. Carnell Snell. 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 Say his name. Carnell Snell.
Thank you. The next speaker. The next speaker, please, Paula Miner, followed by Jojo Smith.
Can you move the police so the people outside can have seats? Oh, is that what you're doing? That's a game.
Taxpayers' money at work. Personnel taking out public
Can we please have a seat and continue with, we're going to continue. Okay, we will fill up the empty seats in the back row. Please have a seat, and let's have our next speaker start.
And Ms. Paula Miner, your time will be starting.
I stand here every week before what's supposed to be a board that represents the community's position. I stand here every week and hear you, Chief Beck, tell us lies, misinterpret words, tell us things that don't make sense, tell us one thing here in this room, go on radio, TV, your interviews, go in other communities that are not the communities that your officers are killing people in, and tell them lies. The community does not trust anything that comes from Chief Beck. Yeah. It's based not because we want to distrust him, it's because so many times we have been lied to, we have been deceived. We have things that happen in this commission that are just like, we hate to use the word jokes. We have de-escalation reports. We have all things that you commissioners ask for. Nothing happens. Those reports languish for a year. Matt Johnson, you were appointed over a year ago. You came in, you said, these are some of the things I want done. Those things have not been done. If any of them have been done, they have not materialized on the street or before the community. You know, I come up here, it's painful. It's very painful. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. I sympathize greatly. I sympathize with Lisa Hines, the mother of Waukesha Wilson. I sympathize with the family of Cornell Snell. I'm supposed to come up here and speak. I'm wordless. The only thing I can do with the rest of my time is say we must lift the name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name.
The next speaker is JoJo Smith.
JoJo Smith of the Los Angeles Community Action Network. Black Lives Matter. Brown Lives Matter. Because, you know, we're not talking about the brown life that was killed Sunday. Because we're united. We're going to unite. And we're going to come after you, Chief Beck. You need to be fired. You're nothing but white supremacists. And this board. Y'all need to stop stamping all this money that's going to this white supremacy. Like, why is there guns in this room? We had to go through metal detectors. Why do we have to have guns in a room with public people that does not have guns? Like, I'm threatened. 3 weeks ago, my partner, which is pregnant, had her hands up. And your officers hit her in the stomach. In the stomach with her hands up. Being a pregnant black woman because you're threatening of black people. Chief Beck needs to go. Fire Chief Beck. 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 Fire Chief Beck! 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 Fire Chief Beck!
Thank you. The next speaker is Broderick.
So the shootings over the last weekend were pretty disgusting, and you guys have already released the tape, but you haven't released Waukesha Wilson's tape or Richard Risher or anybody else that you've murdered, all the other 27 people. But the last time I checked, having a gun doesn't justify getting killed. The Constitution said that we can have guns, and on top of that, California state law says we can defend ourselves against police officers if we feel like our life is being threatened. So what did he do illegal? So on top of that, you guys are denying citizens due process, which is supposed to be a constitutional right. You guys are killing people before we even get a chance to meet the judge or see a jury or anything like that, get a lawyer or anything. What law are you protecting by doing that? You guys are killing 18-year-old kids and shooting them in the back and not showing that part of the video. You're only showing things that make you guys look good. And then you blame black on black crime on why you get to kill all of us. What kind of shit is that? Because you're bad at your job, you get to kill us. Exactly. So, and then on top of that, you left his body out there on the streets for his mom and his little brother to see. Well, like, you guys have no kind of morals, no empathy. You guys are the super predators. And on top of that, you guys investigate yourselves and say, okay, everything is good. We're in policy. 2 days after you kill somebody. What kind of investigation happens in 2 days and you release the tape and say we're justified? If I go kill someone, you're not going to let me investigate myself. What kind of sense does that make? That's all I got to say. Say his name! Say his name! Say his name!
The next speaker, Lisa Simpson, followed by Eddie H.
I am Richard Risher. I am Cornell Sneed. I am Lakeisha Wilson. But Charlie Beck, you are dismissed. It's time for you to go. It's time for you to go. You know, I really did a lot of analytical thinking over the weekend. I went all the way to San Diego because I need to know what's really going on. I watched the debate. This is for all y'all. See, y'all get up here and y'all stand up here like y'all so important. You feel me? And y'all should just keep it real. See, I watch a lot of stuff. I pay attention to y'all, the way y'all sway, all that. This world ain't designed for none of us. Your presidential candidates, all they give a fuck about is the upper class and the middle class. But what about us? But that made me think, oh, okay, I got it. You got Chief Beck as a mercenary. He's telling his rogue cops that the lower class don't mean nothing, so let's take them all out. Then you have us coming to this board meeting looking like straight fools because y'all don't give a fuck about nothing that we saying. Y'all sit here every day and listen to the same shit and go, when y'all have y'all little break, y'all go eat. Y'all don't really care. My son is dead. It's been going on now 3 months. You ain't told me shit, Charlie Beck. You had a press conference for the other boy. Why you didn't have a press conference for my son? I'm feeling some type of way. Why didn't you have a press conference for my son, Mr. Beck? All y'all sit up here. I shut y'all board meetings down. Y'all take me in quietness and talk to me, but shit ain't changing. So I want to ask you a question, Mr. Beck. If I start killing your officers the way you killed my kids, would it be equal? Would it be equal? Because I need to know. Because right now, as a parent, I'm ready to lose my life. I have nothing to live for. So I'm going to ask you again. If I go out here today when I leave and start killing your cops, would it be equal? Would it be equal? I just want to know, would it be equal? And I'm willing to stand there after I kill him and say, yeah, I did that. I'm not going to be like you and lie and say, oh, it was in their line of duty. No, I'm going to let you know. No, it wasn't justified. I said an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. They killed my kid, so I'm going to kill one of them. Because I want all y'all on this panel to feel what I feel. Because y'all, every time I come here, I don't see y'all feeling. I don't see y'all feeling. Don't tell me nothing, Matt. I don't see your feeling, brother. Brother, I don't see your feeling. That's what I'm talking about. You the president, and you don't do nothing. You let these rogue cops kill our kids on a daily. And all you can do is have a press conference and didn't let none of the people in. But what happened to the press conference with my son? Why I couldn't get a press conference? I'm jealous because I didn't get a press conference. It's been 2 months and ain't nobody still called my goddamn number. I want to know. All y'all phones must be broke. Quit saying Miss Simpson, Matt, because I'm going to talk until I get tired of talking. And all you can do is tell them to put me out, and I don't give a damn. Because I want to know, when I leave here today, if I kill one of these officers, is it fair to me? Is it fair? Because they killed mine with no fairness. So I want to kill a few of y'all with no fairness. And I ain't scared to say it. I'm going to tell you to your face my feelings. I want to take a few of yours down so I can see your little bitch ass squirm in your panties. That's what I want to do because you're not a man and you still haven't talked to me. But you go and talk to everybody else, and that's the part I don't understand about you. You know what I'm saying? You got a badge, you got a gun, but you still ain't talked to Miss Simpson. I'm never going to be quiet about this young man right here because this young man right here meant something to me. This young man meant something to a lot of people. I got a 7-year-old son that I got to explain to every other day why y'all killed my son. And guess what I tell him? I don't know, son, because they ain't telling me shit. So how I'm going to tell my 7-year-old son the reason why y'all killed this big brother? Y'all just didn't take his life. Y'all took me and my family life. So from today, fuck this protesting shit, I'm going to start taking y'all lives. And then I feel like
hold on. I feel like
we even. If I do to you what you did to mine, we even. We even. We even.
First. No.
Yes, Miss McClain. Because we've been protesting and it don't mean shit. So if we start making y'all feel how we feel as parents, it'll be even. Put your hand on your head and think about it.
I'll wait until everybody's finished commenting on this item.
Okay, Mr. Eddie H., followed by Michael Novick and Audrey George.
Eddie H., Los Angeles Community Action Network, LA CAN. I had some discourse that I want to enter into, but I must say this to my dear sister. Your righteous indignation has been earned. It's not something that is a fallacy. It's not something that we perceived is going on. It's reality. We're literally being slaughtered in the streets on a daily basis. And somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read that the greatness, the supposed greatness of America is the right to protest for right. But when we come to this meeting week after 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 week, we feel like we're under siege, for our voices are literally not being heard. They're not being taken into account. So when we cry out, saying no more blood in the streets of our young men, women, our sisters, our mothers, our fathers, we're serious about this. It has gotten to the point where we really do feel that the only way that this is going to change is by revolution. And revolution, it will be televised. So we're saying today, if this shit keeps on happening, and I'm not advocating violence by any stretch of the imagination, but I understand where it might happen. And in closing, I just want to say this to all who are in this room today. We all should be held accountable. Those who are not affected, of course, certainly those who are affected. For you are complicit if you sit back and don't say anything about the unrighteousness that continues to happen. You are complicit if you allow your voice to continue to be impotent while we are slaughtered in the streets. You are complicit if you can't see the hurt and the pain that we experience on a daily basis. Amen. So we're saying right now, stand up and be counted.
We have Michael Novick, followed by Audrey George and Trevor Gerard.
Michael Novick with White People for Black Lives. Chief Beck was on TV a week or so ago, 2 or 3 interviews with Pat Harvey. He lives in a fantasy world. He thinks he's the model for Tom Selleck. It came right out and said it. He thinks he's the model for Tom Selleck on Blue Bloods, on CBS television network, a show about a family of cops. And he thinks he's the model for it. He's living in a fantasy world, and the fact that none of you are even aware that he's putting out this kind of propaganda week in and week out, and haven't chastised him and called him to account for this, one of his displays of crocodile tears about the people his department is killing. He's the head of the most murderous police department in the United States for the 3rd year in a row, and he's bragging about the fact that they reduced the increase in the average of shootings a little bit this year compared to the 4-year average compared to last year. What kind of bullshit is that? How can you sit there and stand for it? If you have any self-respect as a member of a commission charged with civilian oversight, and Matt Johnson, before the meeting started, there was nothing on the agenda about Matt Johnson's report to the people or statement about anything. The first thing on the agenda is the consent item, so that wasn't the meeting. If you want to talk about how concerned you are about these killings, you have to do something about it during the meeting itself. You have to do something about it when it counts, not at a press conference, not at a impromptu statement that's not on the agenda, and when people try to respond not on the agenda, you tell them you're going to shut the meeting down because they're not letting you speak. You have to listen to them as you let that mother speak. And you have to realize that that man is responsible. He's the head. Fish rots from the head. And this department is rotten from top to bottom. They say it's a few bad apples. Remember what the proverb is. A few bad apples spoil the lot. You have a rotten barrel, and that's the man who's got to turn it over.
Yeah. We have Audrey George, Trevor Gerard, Miriam Nicole.
Sir, can you please have a seat so we can continue the meeting? Can everyone please have a seat so we can continue with the comment on this item? Sir, please have a seat so we can continue with comment on this item. Can you please have a seat so we can continue with comment on this item?
Trevor Gerard.
Start the clock, please.
Charlie Beck is just a man. He's just a man. Men fall down steps. Men have heart attacks. Men have strokes. But he sits up here like he can't be touched. Not only is he a man, he's a criminal. Right? We know that when they declared the war on poverty, it was the war on black folk. We know when they declared the war on drugs, it was the war on black folk. We know that when they declared the war on terror, it's the war on black folk. Charlie Beck is not only a man, he's a criminal, and he's a symbol of the injustice and oppression that visits our communities. We don't roll up to Beverly Hills looking for the fight. We don't roll in to Bel Air looking for the fight. They bring the fight to us. Right? So not only is Charlie Beck a criminal, they've brought war to our communities. So Charlie Beck is a war criminal. Exactly. So the minute that all this shit gets taken out of just being civil rights abuses and we start talking about it being human rights abuses, and we take it before the international community, I want Charlie Beck charged with crimes against humanity. His name was Carnell Snell, and he was 18 years old.
Order, please. Thank you. Call the next speaker.
Miriam Nicole.
Okay, hi. So I had the pleasure of hearing different conversations with different police over the weekend because you guys brought out the riot gear and it was crazy. But it's really sad to see you guys sell this lie to black and brown people that they're helping their communities. They say that, oh, you know, growing up I wanted to be a superhero and I realized I couldn't be a superhero, so I became a cop. And that is just the saddest lie that you, like, because you guys are a business, obviously, and you guys are selling. You guys are false advertisement to people of color thinking that they're helping their communities. It's sad that you guys use, like they're doing the white man's work. What you guys really want to do, you guys use black and brown people to oppress their people. LAPD, even in different cities that I lived in, I've never been able to really speak to cops and have conversation. They're always like rude, don't want to talk. And even I was in Charlotte last week, and they just killed people, and they were nicer than you guys. And they just also killed people. And it's just really sad that you guys are selling this lie to black and brown people that they're going to be helping their community when they're doing the exact opposite. They're not making connections with their communities. When they come to the communities, people don't even want to call for help because they're going to be attacked, they're going to be shot. So, yeah, so I would really, if you guys just stop selling that lie to black and brown people. And also, yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. The next three speakers, we have Karen Hilfman, Michael Williams, and Hamid Khan. Again, Karen Hilfman, Michael Williams, and Hamid Khan.
Karen Hilfman, White People for Black Lives. I really didn't want to be here this morning. I'd planned to go to Rosh Hashanah services, but the events of the weekend intervened. As a white person with some privilege, and as a concerned resident of Los Angeles for 43 years, I'm horrified by the LAPD's continued use of lethal force in our communities of color. It's not a PR problem, as police chief would have us believe. It's a real life and death problem, enacted and enabled again and again. That the chief defends officers who shoot to kill is absurd and humiliating. To ask us to think that lethal force is an adequate way to apprehend suspects, shooting to kill, then shooting again, to be sure, is not just condescending, it's disgusting and criminal. There have to be other ways. Training maybe, right? But the LAPD doesn't seem interested. You can also stop occupying, over-policing, and criminalizing communities of color. Give the money back to the city for jobs and community intervention specialists. Harvard scientists recently have determined that police killings are a public health problem, but the communities have known this for a long time. So what are you going to do about it?
The next speaker, Michael Williams, please.
Before I start my time, he does have speaker cards in his hand that he is not turning in.
Are they blanks or if they're blank, that's one thing, but...
We have order, please. We have order, please. There is no speaker has been denied the right to speak. You are creating problems that don't exist.
You know what? There has been speakers that have been denied the
Mr. Williams,
right to speak.
please continue.
Thief Beck, you're a joke. You are a complete joke, and you're writing stuff down, and you're not looking because you don't care. I understand. You know, you go back home and you kill people, and people still getting killed. There's been 5 people killed in October. You know who has the top in that one? You. You're winning in that category. So you get up here and you talk about, oh, well, we got too many guns on the street. Yeah, you damn right. You damn right we got too many guns on the street. As I can remember, it was a constitutional right to have arms. But I don't think that exactly. I don't think that goes to black folks. So you release a video that shows a young man who has a gun, but you don't release the video of him being killed. So how are you gonna how are you positioning yourself within this community? Trevor's right. You are a war criminal because you're saying you do war on us. You say that we had your officers killed 2 people that we don't even know the second person's name. We don't know his face. And then y'all talking about, oh, if you have any information about who this is, how are we supposed to know? How are we supposed to know who the person is when you haven't even released any information about him? How is his family supposed to know who he is? They're probably sitting at home right now wondering if their family member, where the family member is. Because you haven't even released anything. Y'all are war criminals. Y'all all are part of the same system. And you just approved this man. When crime is up, police shootings of civilians is up. So what is he actually accomplishing?
Hamid Khan, followed by Alfredo.
This man over here. This person, Charlie Beck. Because as abolitionists, we got to make them invisible and irrelevant in our lives. That's really the first thing we want to do. So he talks about the core issue of violence. So let's look at some numbers, right? Let's go back to 2011. LAPD, 62 officer-involved shooting. Killed the most people in the country in 2011, 28. 2013, 48 officer-involved shooting. LAPD killed the most people, 15. In 2015, 48 officer-involved shooting. LAPD killed the most people in the country, 21. In 2016, LAPD again leads the country. They've killed 18 people in the city. So now, and we count, this is only the first week of October. So when we talk about the core issue of violence, when we talk about gang problems, when we talk about the use of gun violence, who is killing? Right? But they have a license to kill. They do it because they have a license to kill. And they want to use that license. Beck tells us that, that people are being irate. Now I'm going to turn around and speak to Shane Goldsmith. She's our new commissioner over here. I hope you're watching all of this. I hope you're taking it in. Because when this meeting started, the president of the commission kept on saying that you will be held responsible for breaking up the meeting. We are being held responsible for speaking the truth. We are being held responsible for bringing our emotion to this meeting. We are being held responsible for bringing our lament and pain to this meeting. We are being held responsible because in a unanimous chorus, people are reaching out and saying that there are killing fields out there and he is presiding over the most murderous department in the country. This is your first meeting. There's going to be many more to come. You decide whether you want to be on the side of the truth or you want to be on the side of complete fabrication and lies.
The next four speakers, we have Alfredo, Nicole Tinson, Felicia Ford, and Pamela, I can't pronounce the last name, Moru. Is Alfredo here?
Just as a procedural, I want to speak Spanish and English, so I need 4 minutes of my time. I want to translate to my community, this community in Los Angeles. About half of us speak Spanish.
You can have 4 minutes.
The Spanish, no, I need 4 minutes.
You can have 4 minutes.
Quiero empezar. Quiero empezar en español y quiero hablar a la comisión de la policía ahorita que está presente. Y quiero decirles que a mi comunidad que está viendo, hay aquí noticias en español, la gente latina, la gente indígena y de gente de este país que están mirando cómo esta junta está conducida. Estamos mirando que como antes los colonizadores nos mataban, todavía los colonizadores nos están matando. Apenas ayer el sábado, antier en el sábado o el domingo, mataron a un muchacho de mi edad. A 2 cuadras de mi casa lo mataron. Le dispararon una vez, se cayó al piso y le dispararon 3 veces más. El día anterior mataron a otro muchacho de mi edad, más joven que yo, 18 años de edad. Se llama Carnell Snell. Y estoy aquí a demandar que me digan el nombre de mi vecino que mataron el domingo. Porque entendemos que la policía no nos hace más salvos. Entendemos que la policía nomás sirve para proteger el capital de los de la gente güera. Entendemos que la policía no nos hace más salvo que nuestra comunidad misma. Ayer miramos que la gente negra, que la gente morena y la gente indígena, la gente de mi color, se unieron juntos para demandar justicia contra este grupo terrorista que se llama el Departamento de Los Ángeles de Policía. So I am here to talk about what happened yesterday. Yesterday, your biggest fear happened, Charlie Beck. Black and brown people came together in the streets of South Central. And it wasn't just, the elders whom I respect a lot, it was young people. It was a lot of young people, 12, 13, 14 years old, demanding for justice. Because on Saturday, they killed someone. Your police officers killed someone from our community. Carnell Snell was 18 years old. On Sunday, you killed someone 2 blocks down the street. I am the Central Alameda Neighborhood Council president, which means that, you know, in this, if this system was to work, you would go to the community representatives to tell them what happened. But to this day, we don't even know his name. Yesterday we had to mourn. We had to say, we don't know what to say to uplift his name because we don't know his name. What we do know is that your officer shot him once, and then while he was on the floor, they shot him 3 times. And we do know your officers are trying to intimidate the witness that saw everything. And I was telling my brown people that are watching me that we can't take this anymore. We are indigenous people in this land that are so occupied by this police force. This is no different than when the Spanish came to our land and colonized us and educated us. The things that are going right now are the things that went on back then. The genocide of black and brown people. Black and brown. 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 Black and brown.
We can continue with the meeting.
Black and brown. Black and brown. Black lives, they matter here. Black lives, they matter here.
So if you don't have a seat, if we don't stop the chanting, we're going to recess the closed session.
Black lives, they matter here. Black lives, they
Okay, we're going to adjourn the meeting and we're going to go to closed session.
Black lives, they matter here. Black lives, they matter here.
The Board of Police Commissioners will now adjourn into closed session to discuss item numbers 10A1 and 2 in accordance to Government Code 54957.
Well, I don't know who's here to give the reports.
We don't need
There were a couple that I don't believe we needed.
Well, I agree with that.
Which ones of 3, item 3 did you want to pull? Because we do have staff here for a number of these.
I'm sorry? Yes, you have to report out on closed session now. Then we'll just resume regular.
H is,
A and
John?
H are off the agenda.
Is Wilshire area still here?
No, they took off.
They bugged?
Yeah. Mostly everybody split when they heard it was
Okay, so 3G is unable.
Well, we may not, let me just see real quick.
Okay.
Mr. President, can you give me just a second, sir?
Yes.
Totally transparent. We have some people outside. I've asked our staff to go out and see if they want to come into the meeting and for the rest of the meeting. I do not want to have the commission accused of continuing the meeting when people were waiting outside and not allowing them to come in, even if we do not have hear items because of the fact that we do not have staff who have left. And with that, also, the Inspector General requested that item 3A be pulled today, and the department item, which is 3H, we will pull because we had a technological issue with linking the audit with the item. So we would continue 3A and 3H to next week minimally.
Do we need to report out on closed session first?
Yes.
Or do we do that?
Yeah, she can do that.
Okay. The Board of Police Commissioners has concluded its work in closed session. We are back in open session. In closed session, item number 5A1 was discussed and the chief's recommendations were unanimously adopted. In closed session, item number 5A2 was discussed and the chief's recommendations were unanimously adopted.
On items 3F and 3G, I did not personally need a report on that. Did any of my fellow commissioners want to report on those items?
No.
So can I have a motion to approve items 3F and 3G?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so those unanimously approved. And then I did want reports on the other
You want
four
the
items,
City
though,
council
which is
reward?
on the city council reward, item 3B, are we okay to proceed on that without a report? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve 3B.
All in favor?
Was there a second?
I'm sorry, a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Sobroff. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So let's see, anyone want to report on item 3C?
No.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve item 3C?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. So that's 3D and 3E. 3E I wanted to report on. 3D, which is 3D? Let me just open that real quick.
Supplemental police account.
Did anyone want to report on item, on this item, 3D? No? Okay, do I have a motion to approve item 3D?
Moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that means we'll just move item 3E to next week's agenda, along with items 3A and 3H. Correct. Did any members of the public express an interest in coming back into the meeting?
No, sir, there was no one out front. They're back behind the building, and that extension has been, yeah. Just for my clarification, sir, did we not take a report on 3G or 3?
We approved
F.
item 3G.
And 3F also was approved?
We approved items
F and G were approved. Yes.
F and G and B. B, C, D, F, and G. And do I have a motion to continue? Continue item 3E.
Let's do all three.
A and H were already pulled.
So you just want a motion to continue item
3E.
3E, so moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Good. Madam Secretary, do we have any public comment today?
We have 17 public comment cards. We have no public present, sir.
Okay.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And I I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shannon Lamert Park. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35, our city, our channel.
When duty calls, the LAPD responds.
Let's be careful out there.
Working as a team to protect and to serve.
Whoever's got a gun, leave us alone! Or I can just let her go. We have a critical missing.
I lost my puppy.
To fight crime and to keep our streets safe.